Welcome back to Sleeper Sports Media Podcast, episode 34 with my dude Keenan Mary from Exceptional Sports News. How you doing, bro?
Doing great. How about you?
Doing all right, working in school. I know you were talking a little bit about you're waiting to get back into the groove of things of school and everything, but I'm so glad we finally are able to do this. We've been waiting and talking about it, and we're finally able to do another one.
Definitely, and maybe be able to keep pushing them out more, more regularly.
Absolutely. My days off are Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday now, so I'm shooting to get them out every Wednesday.
Those are good days for me.
So we're gonna start off with some XFL news. All the 8 XFL teams, the new ones, some of the old ones, they've released where they're gonna play at. The Orlando Guardians are gonna play at the Camping World Stadium. That's down in Orlando. That's where the one of the bowl games is at. It has about 8,500 seating capacity. What do you think? Do you think they're going to be able to sell all 8,500 seats?
Maybe not right away, but if they get some momentum and people start watching the sport more and like it, you never know. I mean, I know a lot of people that like XFL, but also know a lot of people that are like, and they think about the old XFL, the wrestling owned one.
Yeah.
And I had high praise for that too. But I don't know, man. I always have high praise for these other football, I guess you would say, associations or
Yeah, leagues. Yep.
yeah, leagues. And
Promotions. Might
I
as well
have
be
the same thing with this one. And I want to be proven right for a change because it's sad when the NFL season's over and there's just nothing going on and talking about what ifs, or it just gets you in the mood of missing football. So
Yeah.
there's no better way to replace football than have more football, even if it's a different brand or whatever be it. But I think if they play good and people really take to liking it, I could see them selling out 8.6K.
Yeah,
But
the Guardians they're moving from New York down to Orlando. They're adding the Orlando is a team that was added. The next one, the Arlington Renegades, they're playing at Choctaw Stadium, which is the old Rangers Stadium in Arlington.
oh, wow,
Yeah. So I noticed that they have a lot of that. I think the that's how the Vegas is too. And then the DC Defenders, they're going to play where they played in 2020 at Audi Field. That has 20,000 seating capacity. I mean, they love their sports down in DC, so I don't
I was
think
gonna say.
they won't have an issue.
From what I remember, even last time, there was a lot of people that took to that team. Even though I know a lot of people from the DC or DMV area,
Yeah.
but a lot of other people just like they like the Defenders, man, and that's who I was pulling for just because of the team and where it was located.
Yeah.
And
That was
they're
the
pretty
closest one to me
impressive.
too. That was the closest one to me too. So I was kind of watching them. The next one is the Houston Roughnecks, which is another team that is returning, and they're playing their home games at TDECU Stadium, and that seats 5,000.
Oh wow,
I mean,
they
they love
love
football down there
football.
in
Yeah, they
Texas, so
should they
yeah,
should fill that up if
they won't have an issue. The San Antonio
Cowboys.
Brahmas are the next one. They will play their home games at the Alamo Dome,
Oh,
65,000 seating capacity.
that's going to be a tough one to fill. But like you said,
Yeah.
down there in Texas, they love their sports and stuff. So they'll probably see a lot more support in Texas than most of these places.
I think Seattle's gonna, or not Seattle, San Antonio. That I think that's gonna be my team just because of obviously the colors and who their head coach is in Hines Ward.
Yeah, that should be a very good team.
The next one, Seattle Sea Dragons, another returning team from XFL 2.0, and they're gonna play their home games again at Lumen Field and Event Center, and that's where the Seahawks play.
That's pretty cool. Seattle
Um,
Dragons, Sea Dragons.
yep, yeah, they added the Sea Dragons for this one.
I think they needed more teams because honestly, it was like an 8 game season last time or something like that, something short. And
I think it was 10, and then it was the same. It might have been 10, and then all 8 teams made the playoffs. I don't know. But also
that's
the season was
insane.
cut short because of COVID.
Yeah,
They just gave up. The
that was
St.
a
Louis,
whole mess.
it really was, and I'm
Yeah.
glad that The Rock got right into it and bought it from good
Me
old
too.
Vince.
He
Which,
runs this right. He'll make a return on it.
yeah, maybe clean up another one of Vince's Mets.
Yeah,
Vince's
for
mess,
sure.
which is what we will talk about later as well.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about with that for sure.
The St. Louis Battlehawks, probably one of the favorites that returned and one of the favorites to win the whole thing. They're going to play their home games at the Dome at America Center, and that has 67,000 capacity, which they won't have any issue selling that out. I think they had the highest home attendance in 2020 whenever the XFL 2.0 was around.
Yeah, I do remember their name a lot, and they had a big fan base from if I remember correctly.
They kept everything the same colors, same name. Uniforms are a little different, and the uniforms for all the teams are really cool. The Vegas Vipers, they're going to play their home games at Cashman Field, seats 10,000, and that was another old minor league baseball stadium, and now it's been used as soccer, and now it's going to be used for football.
I'm actually shocked it's not a bigger stadium, to be
Yeah,
honest. I mean, it's Vegas.
yeah. I
Normally
think
they go all out.
Yeah, I can't remember where it was located, but I did see that it was an old minor league baseball stadium. Um, Notes on the teams that left and that stayed. There's no LA Wildcats. The Guardians moved from New York to Orlando. They added the Vegas team and took out I guess the Vipers moved from Tampa Bay to Vegas, and then they added the San Antonio team.
Those are pretty solid moves for the XFL.
There besides putting what three teams in uh Texas, I guess, and Dallas moved or the Renegades moved from Dallas to Arlington.
Yeah, it is crazy. They have all those teams over there in Texas. It's
And it
almost like New York and Florida in the NFL, bro. It's
yeah,
like you got all these shots at winning a Super Bowl, your state, and it don't happen often.
yeah. And they did two divisions, North and South. And I think basically the South is the three Texas teams and Orlando. So if Orlando doesn't win, there's going to be a Texas team in the championship.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That is pretty crazy to think about. Maybe if it succeeds, it can expand even more than it has.
yeah. I would. I want to. I want a PA team, but or somewhere local, more closer than DC. But
Right. I'd
um,
feel the same way, but usually 90% of the time, if DC's got a sport and somewhere in Maryland ain't getting it.
yeah,
You've got lucky with the Ravens and stuff like that, but just like with hockey, you'll never see a hockey team out of Maryland.
yeah. Um, they. I was gonna. They. Yeah. I mean, my probably early. And I guess it does make sense because they made the central hub of the XFL in Arlington. So that I guess that's why they're pushing teams to get teams in Texas. But I could definitely see like a Nashville, Carolina, more in the Alabama, that area, and then in the Midwest, Ohio, Iowa,
Yeah,
I
they
mean even
definitely could branch out over there.
Washington State.
Yeah, there's a lot of branching out they can do.
But yeah, the schedule this year is 10 weeks, regular season, and then I think the top four teams, top two from each division, I guess make the playoffs, and then it goes from there. And this week one will kick off the week after the Super Bowl, and it is
It's
the
perfect timing.
Vipers and Renegades and Guardians and Roughnecks, and then the Battlehawks and the Brahmas, the Sea Dragons and Defenders.
It's a pretty
That's
good week one lineup right there. Right after the Super Bowl, too. That's perfect.
and I think USFL is the same time.
I'm glad. The more the better. I just hope something can actually stick around because
Yeah,
having football in the offseason, NFL, is something I've been wanting my whole life. Something we
absolutely.
need.
Yeah, when XFL 2.0 came around, I didn't know anything about the first one, and then I read into it, and I actually just watched a video about it last night about how it turned into a big failure and cost
Yeah,
Vince so much money, and no wonder why he's so greedy. But again, we'll talk about
he's
that, of
definitely
course.
greedy, man. Even if it ain't about
Um,
money, it's got to be his name, his
oh,
way.
oh yeah, yeah. Yeah,
his dad was nothing like that either, man. You know, it's if you know anything about his father, you would kind of be upset, you know, looking at what Vince has done to the brand.
I can't believe he's that greedy to not let something that he built, that his name is already on all over and will always be on. He just wants to burn it into the ground rather than see it succeed without him.
Yeah, but it was succeeding, man. And the thing is, if these Saudis, I know that's a big rumor and it's been killed already, but you
Yeah.
never know. The Saudis have the money to do it.
Oh yeah.
But if they did it, you know, I want to be positive and think, you know, maybe this can work. But on the same token, I feel like they'll run it to the dirt because there's plenty of people that will not wrestle over there. Uh, it's a whole mess, man. Like the whole women's roster, you probably wouldn't even exist anymore.
Oh yeah. Yeah. No doubt.
And
And there's already
that's the
been,
stuff I think about. It's like, man, Vince is ruining his grandkids and great grandkids' future,
yep,
even though they might be set financially. But man, and you don't have your company. That's been in the family forever. I remember when
exactly.
they were fucking regional, bro. Like they were like in Tennessee doing like local shows way back in the day, and wasn't even really known.
Yeah.
They grow
It's
into this big conglomerate they are now. It's like I could get why you'd want to sell, but just the timing of it, there's no good enough excuse for it. If you wanted to sell, this should have been a topic a couple years ago.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I think he was banking on everything that came out to have stayed quiet a couple years ago and then not even have to worry about it.
Yeah,
But
comes out. It always comes out in the end.
oh yeah. There's the memes have been hilarious though.
Yeah, they have, man. Did you see that thing Javante shared earlier?
I
It,
saw a couple of his stuff that he shared last night. I was talking to him a little bit last night, but
he shared a video this morning. It was like the entrance, like you know, the
oh,
intro and
this
that Jinder Mahal music.
this ma yeah,
Or no, Muhammad Hassan music.
I did see that last night. That was
Man,
hilarious.
that took me out, and I could see that. You'd see like Jinder, the new Roman Reigns.
Or I
Man,
saw another one. It was Roman came out as the tribal chic.
man, I bet the Iron Sheik probably loving what's going on. That
But I
man,
was, yeah, until Sean Ross Sapp, which he did end up saying today that it was completely false, and even Ariel Helwani was saying that it's not true. But we will definitely jump into more of that. The NFL playoffs, they're set. Um, I'm gonna talk about this with a grain of salt because events, but the
yeah.
AFC side, Kansas City, Buffalo, Cincinnati, Jacksonville, Baltimore, Chargers, and Miami. NFC, Philadelphia, San Francisco, Minnesota, Tampa Bay, Dallas, the Giants, and Seattle. Um, who
A
do you
lot
would
of
NFC side is a mess. AFC side, I know who you
I
want to see
think,
win.
man, I think the AFC side it makes the NFC look weak. I mean, granted, you take the Ravens out of this equation because I know what our team looks like right now. But you look at every one of those starting quarterbacks on the AFC side. Well, Tua is hurt; he's out.
Yeah,
But man, if Lamar was healthy and Tua, just look at that the quarterbacks for the AFC. It's ridiculous. It's not even fair. And the
yeah,
oldest one is Patrick Mahomes.
yeah.
He's
That's
27, bro. That's the future right there. Those
that.
quarterbacks, that's the future, the present.
Yeah, it's like what Burrow said. Their window to win is his entire career.
It's hard to deny, especially with the added 7 seeds over the past couple seasons, man. Like you got 14 out of 32 teams in the playoffs. You always got a shot. You make it there,
Yeah, and
and
then
they irritate me, man. But Burrow, I liked him a lot in college, but my like for him kind of went away where he got drafted.
yeah,
But man, I was one of the few people I made money on that national championship with Clemson and LSU, the battle with the Tigers. And man, down here in South Carolina, even people that don't like Clemson were pulling for Clemson. I'm like, nah, man, Joey B, and he went out there and dropped like 6 touchdowns that night, bro. It wasn't
yeah,
even close.
yeah. I didn't care for Joe Burrow. I don't really watch too much college unless it's Penn State or West Virginia. But they always they're not there yet. The Rose Bowl, I did watch the Rose Bowl. That was awesome. Sean Clifford got to actually go out on top for once, and he's finally done with Penn State, which I'm happy about, but also kind of sad because him and he's one of those names now like Trace McSorley, and you just look at him and you think Penn State.
That's
Um,
true.
but who do you? I mean, like, yeah, the NFC is just a mess. The AFC is by far way better.
I see a lot of upsets in the NFC playoffs, man.
That's what I was thinking.
I don't even know who to call to lock. Everybody's saying Philly. I think San Francisco is the best team, but I don't know how far they can go with Brock Purdy. He's a rookie, So granted,
Mr. Irrelevant.
he's looked very good. Don't get me wrong, but man, you put me on that team, shit, I might look good too. They got talent everywhere. I
Yeah.
can't think of a position they don't have talent. Like you got stars at wide receiver, you got one of the best tight ends, you got a good O and D line. Their front seven on defense, I think they have the best defense in football. It's not even close.
It's going to be
And
interesting.
you got Christian McCaffrey, who seems like he's found life again.
Yep.
And
Staying
that dude
healthy.
was a baller, even on a bad team with Carolina, but you put him on the 49ers, he's not going to be run to the dirt like that. I like to favor San Fran, but I can't sit and say if they had. I don't even know if I would feel that way with Jimmy G. Man, it's like that's always the problem with me and this team, man. I took them to go to the Super Bowl last year, and it was the same thing. How's the quarterback going to play?
Yeah.
And I think even 2020 when they went to the Super Bowl, or 2019 and they played the Chiefs, it was the same thing. I'm like, bro, I think the 49ers had a better team than those Chiefs did. And for the third quarter, they pretty much played like that until Jimmy Gag, he started coughing up the ball and playing. They got away from running the football, I think, is what messed them up.
Yeah.
But that's what I worry about with them. And their first round matchup on paper, people might not think much of it, but the Seattle Seahawks know the 49ers really well.
Yep. Yep.
So that's a game they cannot, be caught slipping in.
Yeah. So the AFC wildcard round, the Chargers and Jacksonville. I'm going with the Jags. Baltimore and Cincinnati. I'm going with Cincinnati. Only because like your one post, Lamar might not play.
Yeah,
Isn't
it's looking
playing.
bleak.
Miami and Buffalo. I'm taking Buffalo. And then the divisional round, Kansas City and Jacksonville. Kansas City. Although it would be hilarious to see the Jags win the Super Bowl and then the WWE send them a WWE title belt, and then Tony Khan's just
That
sitting there.
storyline alone interests me about the Jaguars, bro.
That would be the only reason I would want to. I would ever cheer for them because I'm
Now,
not
with
really a
me
big.
personally, I usually I go each round to each round. I'll give you all my wild card predictions because I usually go round to round just in case everything's wrong.
Okay.
But that's how I usually do it. But we can talk the hypotheticals and everything else too.
Yeah.
It's kind of tough on me. I would have took the Ravens if I had known what's going on with Lamar, but it's pointing to the same crap, bro. We're not going to know anything till game day, and it's
Yep.
going to probably be him sitting. And I don't really. I've seen people say Tyler Huntley needs to be the starter over Lamar. Well, the past few weeks have shown me otherwise. And I had a dude block me. That Nick Blackman dude, he used to be in our group. I don't know if he still is or not.
Yeah.
But he was one of those guys. He was dogging Lamar. He would say Lamar is shit, and then the next day, if he was winning a game, he'd be praising him. But
Yeah.
when Lamar got hurt, he's like, "Yeah, you're gonna find out why Huntley needs to start," and blah blah blah. Well, anyway, it come back and haunt him, and Huntley looked like shit.
Yeah.
And he ended up like deleting his Facebook and making another one. I don't know. It's like, bro, and he's over there doing journalism at a school in California. So it's like, man, you can't take the heat of what you said and you're gonna run away, then you ain't gonna be no good journalist, bro.
Yeah.
Like you
Yeah.
gotta eat that shit.
Yeah. Oh, I
I
know
do
all about that.
I do favor the Jaguars over the Chargers. I think they played. I don't know what week it was, but I think the Jaguars beat them by like 3 touchdowns.
Mm.
But I think they're even better than they were then. And
Yeah,
Trevor Lawrence.
I like Doug Peterson. I mean, Herbert is, he's definitely the guy out there, but I like Doug Peterson.
Me too. He's a damn good coach. He's turned them around.
just like he did in Philly.
Yeah, they played September 25th. Damn. The Jaguars beat the Chargers 38-10.
Wow.
Now, granted, this was January, or I mean, not January, September.
Yeah.
That don't matter. But the thing is, the Jaguars really weren't the Jaguars then.
Yeah.
I always like they got a defense. They got a running game. Trevor Lawrence is playing clean football. The Chargers, I don't know about them, man. It's like every year on paper, they're this powerhouse. They can't
Yep.
even win their own division.
Well, yeah. No one in that. I mean, they're second best team in that division. No one in that division's touching Kansas City, though. I mean,
No, it's going to
Pat
take a
Mahomes.
big overhaul for
Yeah.
another team to do that. It's going to probably take Andy Reid leaving and Mahomes getting hurt, and
Yeah.
which
Kelsey retiring.
yeah,
All
that'd
that.
probably be the first thing to happen out of those three things. Kelsey retire before Andy leaves, or something happens to Patrick.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
getting a little older for a tight end.
Yeah. I
He's still balling.
look at Gronk.
Man, he played too hard. I understand why he retires fast. The way he plays, man, and the hits he used to take, and even like on running plays, like when he was with the Patriots, when he'd run block, bro,
Yeah.
he took some nasty fucking hits.
What about the rumors of Tom Brady going out to Vegas?
I could see that happening. If you look at it, that him and McDaniels, they got history. They've won
Yep.
titles together. Man, you give him a weapon like Adams, you already know what he can do with that. Then if Waller might stick around, that's a good security blanket. Yeah, I mean they got the pieces. I think over there. I think I don't know. I think the coaching was really really bad this year over there in Oakland, or not Oakland, Vegas, and
Yeah.
somebody had to be the scapegoat, and it wasn't going to be McDaniels, so they pinned that shit on Carr. And honestly,
Yeah.
I did some research. It's funny. I was looking at this a couple days ago. There's a playoff quarterback that has worse stats than Derek Carr.
Who's that?
Dak Prescott.
That doesn't
He's
surprise
thrown
me.
he's thrown the most interceptions in the NFL this year. And remember, he was out for 5 weeks.
Wow.
He's 7 or 8 games in a row a pick.
I did see that. I saw that, and then
So
I saw that somewhere else, and then I saw it in the group. I think you posted it.
you go play the Bucks to try to win like that, it's not going to happen. And but the thing is, it's like, man, people praise Dak Prescott, but they giving Derek Carr shit. It's like half the time it's the defense of the Raiders why they don't win.
Yeah.
I don't think Derek's a bad player at all. He's pretty good.
Yeah.
He's got a pretty good arm, but he's been stuck in that shitty team his whole career, bro.
Yeah. It's it's gonna be fun to see where he goes. Go to Indy and go to Indianapolis.
Yeah.
And
I
then
think
we'll really see.
Man, I feel bad for anybody going to Indy though. It's like it looks good on paper.
Beautiful
The
stadium.
past 3 or 4 quarterbacks they've had, it looked amazing on paper. Like, oh, we have everything but a quarterback, and
You go from
that's just not the case.
Carson Wentz, Matt Ryan, bust,
Phillip Rivers,
bust.
man, and Phillip probably looked the best out of all of them.
Yeah.
And as old as he was, they weren't going to get no more time out of him. But I know, I think Dolphins and Bills would be a blowout, and the only thing that'll save it from being a blowout is untimely flags.
Yeah.
The refs ain't gonna let Bills win 40-0, but
yeah,
I guarantee you that it's gonna be one of them gentlemen blowouts. It's gonna be like 35-14, probably something like that. I didn't give him a chance with Tua. I damn sure ain't giving him a chance without.
Yeah, I mean, you said talk hypotheticals. I fully believe that if the Steelers would have gotten in, and they would have had to play Buffalo, they would have given them a better fight than what we saw week 8 or whatever that was when Kenny's first start was against Buffalo. And
that got bad.
The Steelers, they're one of the hottest teams at the end of the year, turning around, going from 2-6 to 7-2. They were up to 10. They were up to 10 in the final power rankings, and I mean, they were just firing on all cylinders. Everything was clicking, minus Deontay, but
Yeah, that would
Looks
have
like,
been definitely a better, I think, a better wild card game and better than y'all's first matchup. At that time, I think when you play Buffalo, they were at their healthiest too. They had Von
yeah,
Miller.
Von Miller. Yep. And I mean, it was,
That's the piece that's making me. I took preseason. I took the Bills to win the Super Bowl because look how close they were last year. Then
yeah,
they got a closer in Von Miller.
yeah,
But when they lose somebody like Von Miller, it's like it makes me think they're back to square one. Like you get in a championship game with Kansas City, you got to have answers.
yeah,
But who knows? Kansas City might not even make it that far. They look beatable to me this year, bro. Granted,
yeah. I could see that.
last year Kansas City didn't look beatable to me, but Cincinnati shocked the world.
Yeah,
But ever since then, it's like, man, I just feel like they just don't look like a juggernaut no more.
yeah.
But they're a class of their division probably for the next decade.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
In 15 years, it's going to be like a Brady and Belichick type run over there.
Yeah.
Maybe not as many rings, but the dominance in the division, it's going to be like that.
Oh, I think Patrick Mahomes can get 3 or 4 more.
Yeah, easily. He should have. I mean, I think he might could have played the Rams hard last year, but the Rams was meant to be.
It's because they went all in, and now
Yeah.
they paid for it.
Now they're back to being like the St. Louis Rams now.
Yeah.
It's funny
Um,
they always sucked in St. Louis outside of that one Super Bowl, but they always play good in LA. Well, now there's a good reason they're not going to be playing good now because they don't have no capital, man. They don't have nothing. They just kind of stuck with what they got.
isn't
If
it
I was
interesting
I'd hold on
that
to Baker Mayfield
yeah, I would love that. I would love to see Baker be the guy over there. I'm a Baker fan.
because with Matt Stafford talking about retiring and his body's been getting banged up, I don't know if I'd be wanting to use him anymore.
Oh yeah.
So
Isn't it isn't it interesting that last year the whole coin flip and overtime type thing with the Bills and the Chiefs, and now this year coin flip to decide home field advantage or what the neutral
yes,
site type thing. How are we going to let the biggest league in the world be decided, two huge moments be decided by a coin flip?
it just don't make no sense, man. I hated that whole idea, and I get Roger Goodell. I never faced something like this his whole time being the president, but man, it's like you also kind of acted fast. I would have. They could have, in my opinion, they would have probably had to play it late at night or before the game, but Monday they could have had the Bills and the Bengals rematch.
Yeah.
And my thing was, well, both teams said they didn't want to play. I understand why, but I would have been okay. Well, we're going to flip a coin inside your game.
Yeah.
We're not going to impact Baltimore, impact Buff. Well, other teams because of that situation, and it
Yeah.
sucks because I mean, if it's at a neutral site, also, even though it's helping, it's also hurting.
Yeah.
Hurting
Then
NFL.
because then it turns into a corporate setting. That's what Pat McAfee and all them, that's how they say it. Like the Super Bowl is a corporate setting, especially when it was in LA last year. But it was so funny because I was watching his show the day of or the day after that Tuesday. I think it was that Tuesday whenever they were talking about it. And he said, why don't they just do a best of 5 coin flip? And
Yeah,
Cincinnati's already up 1 and or best of 3 or 5, whatever he said. But yeah, they definitely should have just said, we got to figure out who's going to win, who wins this game, and then it won't affect any other teams, any other games, and all that. But
I would have felt much better if the game concluded the way it looked. Like if the Bengals beat the Bills and we wouldn't have a chance at the division anyway,
right,
I would have been better with that. I just hated how it ended up. Then you didn't have anybody worth a damn out there playing for the Ravens on Sunday, and I don't care. All these people tagging me and bro, do you see who they played?
yeah,
And the defense, I mean, honestly, they didn't look bad. The defense. I mean, whenever the offense can't score, that's what's going to happen. But
yeah,
I also think I don't carry too much weight with that because I know the Bengals weren't opening the playbook either.
yeah,
But I don't think it's unstoppable force. I mean, I think the playoff game, even if Lamar don't play, I think it's going to be closer than that regular season game. It'll be a 3-point game, I think.
yeah.
That
It's gonna
defense,
be It's gonna be interesting.
We'll be falling on Roquan Smith's back, man.
Yep.
If people are all talking junk about he got a contract and Lamar didn't, well, guess who? Guess who's kept their mouth shut and done their job?
Yep. Guess who's playing
Yeah, and guess who ain't getting
and
hurt?
playing well.
And I love Lamar, but man, it's every day. It's something else, man. And you haven't finished the season the past 2 years. It's like
Yeah.
that's a lot of money to hand you and not even know if I'm gonna have you more than 8 games.
Yeah. Exactly.
I
Oh,
just I wouldn't mind giving him like a $250 million contract, but not guaranteed.
yeah.
Like I need that bitch broke down, maybe like 185, 190 guaranteed, and the rest of that money you gonna have to earn in the playoffs.
Incentives and all
Incentives,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
more than fair, bro. That is way more than fair.
He doesn't seem to think so, but you can thank Deshaun Watson for that.
Yeah, that's the big thing. It would be the Browns that allowed that to happen. I
Oh,
don't know if I was the owner of the Browns, and I'm not saying what happened to Deshaun is true, but just what was pending and over his head. Like I would not sit down and agree to make this man the highest paid player in NFL history.
yeah.
I'd be like, buddy, you need to go to court and handle those problems. Like, cause they gave him that deal before everything got cleared.
Yeah.
Well, imagine if every one of the like all I don't even remember how many it was, 26 or something women. But
28, 26 or 28.
imagine he got that contract and all of a sudden all of that was true.
Yeah.
So what do the Browns do then? That's you just can't rush and give somebody that kind of money.
Yeah.
And he's a great player, but he don't got no MVPs. He's won the Houston division a couple times, but it was trash. That was before
It's
King
still
Henry.
trash.
Yeah, it was before King Henry and these Jaguars we have now. Like that team was always 500, bro, or that division I should say was always 500. And he hadn't done nothing, man. He's riding that national championship from Clemson, in my opinion, and what he can do, and that's kind of what Lamar's trying to do, trying to get paid of what he can do.
Yeah.
And,
Not what
and
he's done.
the Ravens front office don't work that way.
Yeah.
And it's bad. It's kind of, I think in a way that deal with Roquan is a message to him.
Oh, I believe that.
I mean, I truly think that's like, and I think honestly, Lamar probably was going to probably play until that happened. Now he's like, well, I want to get paid too, but honestly, Roquan's probably the MVP of this Ravens team, man.
Yeah.
And, you know, we ain't got no wide receivers. We got Mark Andrews, but people are starting to realize you double him, that's it. You know, stop the run game. So I think Roquan's really at least a team captain, team MVP. I mean, he's kept them in games where we really shouldn't even have been close, like that Broncos game. We shouldn't have won that game at all. I think that was never damn Prochet. They set up a wildcat offense and Prochet threw a goal line interception, man.
Right.
With a minute left in the game.
So the NFC wildcard round, Dallas, Tampa Bay taking the Bucks because Tom Brady's what 6-0 versus Dallas.
Yep.
The Giants over the Vikings in an upset.
I'm close to wanting to lean with that myself, man. Because Vikings, they a mess. Somebody, whenever they were like 10-2, I don't know who it was. Somebody, I think it was Shannon Sharp, one of them guys. They said that's the worst 10-2 team they've ever seen. And honestly, their defense is just terrible.
Yeah. And then we got the Seahawks and the Niners, and I'm gonna roll with Geno Smith. I think, like you said, that could be an upset as well.
Definitely. I'll take the 49ers in that, but I definitely think that it'll come down to QB play who wins. If Geno outplays Purdy, but it's going to be hard if you just look at the defense he's got to see, though. That's what worries me.
Yeah.
But Geno, he might can pull it out his ass, man. It would look real bad for the Broncos now if the Seahawks can go win a playoff game.
Yeah. I'm a Geno Smith guy just because he was at West Virginia and I have family down there and I do like watching them. I've never been to a game in Morgantown, but I want to go to. And it's cool because Penn State is starting a home and home with West Virginia. So my pap and we're going to go to the Penn State game because obviously it's an hour and a half away from me, and then we're going to go to Morgantown next year.
I seen Geno Smith play a long time ago for the Jets.
Hmm.
Stepdad and his parents and that side of the family, they're Patriots fans. They live up in New Hampshire and
Hmm.
Rhode Island, all that stuff. And I was up there visiting family and stuff, and they was like, "Hey, we're gonna go watch the Patriots and Jets today." I said, "I'm like, all right." Yeah, Geno Smith actually won that game in overtime.
That's awesome. Yeah,
That was like the first time the Jets beat the Patriots in God knows how long, too, in 2013.
I
It was
love
Rex
I
Ryan was the coach.
I loved watching Geno Smith play at West Virginia. Him and Pat White, probably
Oh, yeah.
the two quarterbacks that I knew from West Virginia. And then now I don't watch too much of it, but
It's a
they
lot to
were
keep up with.
Pat White he was a dog. He was little, but he didn't care. He did not care. And then like I think Pat White was on the team with Pat McAfee. And it's so funny because I can't remember if when I was watching if I paid attention to who Pat McAfee was. And now you know me, I'm a big Pat McAfee fan.
Yeah, Pat's the dude, man.
I can't wait for him to come back to SmackDown.
Boy, some of these people, I'm reading a comment, man. Some people they in their feelings, bro. When their teams get knocked out, I ain't even said nothing. I know my boy Matt that I put you on with, he's been real salty lately.
Yeah,
I shared something yesterday. It wasn't even about the Ravens or about the Steelers. He gone, yeah, and Lamar gonna be at home too. I'm like, bro, ain't nobody even talking about that shit.
yeah,
I don't know who hurt his feelings, man, but he's been like real on edge with me lately.
yeah, I mean,
Not sure why. I haven't done nothing to the guy. I mean, I was laughing at he was arguing with a Cowboys fan in the group one day, and I was ha-haing what the Cowboys fan said to him. But it was funny. I mean, it's bad when it's rare. It's very rare when a Cowboys fan gets to mess with a Steelers fan. Very rare.
yeah,
I just thought it was funny. I'm laughing at both of them really, but I don't even know what they were arguing about really somewhere in the group.
yeah. I think it was it was the schedule. Because
I'd have
Matt
been
he tagged me in it, and it was something about the schedule, which I wanted to talk about too, because we have like who we play at home, who we play on the road, but he tagged me, and then that the Cowboys fan, he was immediately saying, "Oh, 2 wins at best." And then
I don't even know who that dude is. I
someone
remember his
else
profile picture.
someone else said 5 maybe because of Tomlin, because he can actually coach and keep games close and outcoach other coaches. But
Yeah, that was
yeah,
definitely that pose. Yeah, they were going out. They must be real close friends in real life, I think.
maybe. So some other NFL and Steelers news. I mean, we can talk, we already kind of talked about your Roquan Smith and everything. Deontay Johnson has unfollowed the Steelers on Instagram and removed them from his bio. He also tweeted after Sunday when they were eliminated, or maybe a day later, "I'm not going to say anything, but just watch."
Does he do a contract or?
No, we just re-signed him at the beginning of the year.
Oh
He
shit,
literally just got paid. He
man,
just got
that's
paid.
one thing I hate, man. How guys can get these deals. I'm like, oh, I don't want to play here no more.
And he's mad because he didn't have any touchdowns this year. How many passes did he drop?
Right? You got to look at yourself too. You can't just always blame the quarterback. I know all about that. There's been several passes I've seen Lamar on the money, man, in their hands drop.
Yep.
But
And
they'll be
it's
like, oh,
like,
he's a running back.
I think I saw a stat. Kenny Pickett has a 96% QBR when he's targeting George Pickens because he makes catches.
Hey, I wouldn't do much to mess that up. I'd keep targeting him too. Pickens is a dog, man. He's definitely him and Jefferson had the two best catches of the year to me. Only reason I gave it to Jefferson because it was 4th and 18. The
Yeah.
game was on the line. And if that didn't happen, Buffalo would have won.
Yeah.
Now
Yeah, I
Pickens
get
was
that.
ridiculous, man. That I watched that live on cable and it was crazy. But it really just wasn't like if that was the fourth quarter game on the line, that might have took it for me.
Yeah. If they would have
He wasn't
won,
even looking at it, man.
Yeah, and then he went back, and I mean his whole arm was extended behind his head. Like it's just insane.
Looked like
I
he
mean,
could have
even
broke something
oh,
when he fell.
I guess that was week 3, and I mean Odell came out and was like, oh, that was hands down better than my catch. So it was the catch of the year until Jefferson, but
Yeah. It's usually how it is. You see something crazy, then 2 weeks later, oh, you done forgot about that. It's something new. There was
yeah,
a third catch. I don't even remember. Oh, it was Mike Williams of the Chargers. It wasn't
mm,
even really nothing. He was tiptoeing along the sideline, man. You see that every game.
yeah. George has had done that how many times this year?
Yeah, plenty. I like George Pickens, man. He's definitely got some raw talent. Y'all, that's something I always say about the Steelers, man. Y'all get wide receivers out the ass, man. That's something
It's
we suck at doing. We cannot get
it's it's insane. We're from Hines Ward, Antonio Brown, Santonio Holmes, Emmanuel Sanders, Antoine Randall, George Pickens, Juju, and then
it's
if
almost
whenever
unfair.
if they leave, what do they do?
Not much. Now you got Juju in Kansas City, but you see who he's got the ball being thrown to, or who's throwing the ball.
Yeah,
But
what's he done?
nothing yet.
Exactly.
Last play I think he really made he made it. He had a touchdown versus Buffalo. That's like the only highlight I can really recall from him
Exactly.
off the head. But yeah, you don't really hear his name much. But that
Exactly.
what's his name? That running back, man. I can't remember his name. He's a rookie. That guy for the
Jalen
Chiefs.
Warren
I want to say it's like uh it begins
for
with an M.
for the Chiefs or the Steelers?
McKinnon or something like that.
Oh.
That guy, dude, I haven't heard anybody talk about Clyde Edwards-Helaire since he started.
It's so yeah, that's yeah. The last time I remember him hearing his name, besides like seeing it on Madden or whatever, was the year that they opened up the season, and it was his rookie year, and they were hyping him up big.
He was a monster at first, and it's like that guy McKinnon. I think I'm about to go see what his name is, but he had a touchdown the other day, and he's been balling pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I mean,
Derek McKinnon.
okay, yeah, that
Well,
sounds
actually, that's not. I got two of them I'm talking about because I see another one now. Isaiah Pacheco. That's another name.
mm,
These Chiefs, man, they got these running backs, dude, and it's not even fair. Like they don't need all these running backs. Yeah, I
yeah.
think Pacheco is the one I'm thinking of because I believe he's the rookie.
Mm,
But yeah, they how they structured Mahomes contracts the way to do it, man, for these new guys.
yeah.
Like
They
on the back end is where the big cap hit is, but by that time they're gonna have the NFLPA is gonna have bigger salary cap, so it's not gonna be as bad.
yeah. Yeah, I mean with the whole thing with Deontay, more wide receiver drama in Pittsburgh. I mean, I feel like we're saying that every year with between Antonio Brown and then Juju wanting to stay, them not wanting him, letting him go, and now Deontay. He just got paid and he
Sad, man.
is he's mad because he didn't have any touchdowns. But again, don't drop the ball. If you're going to be a
Get paid all
wide
that
receiver
money to do
one,
nothing.
if you're going to be a wide receiver one for a team, don't drop the ball. When we go to
Yeah,
you, catch the ball. And when he did catch the ball, he would go backwards.
that's terrible.
It was infuriating watching him.
That north and south crap, man. I forgot. I think even like on running backs, a lot of them like to. Some of them are good at it. Some will go back to accelerate forward to find that hole.
Saquon,
Like,
Le'Veon Bell.
yeah, when you're a wide receiver, there ain't no reason for you to be doing that unless
No,
you're trying to juke somebody out and make them miss a tackle or something. But
no,
there
this
ain't no
was just
reason.
straight up. Deontay would catch the ball and go backwards, and then try to go back and then go around. Like it made zero sense.
Must not like getting hit. Could
Must
be a
not
lot
like
of things going on
he
in
doesn't
his
like
head.
he doesn't like scoring touchdowns either.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
um, and I don't know how Baltimore is this year, but there's a lot of unrestricted free agents in Pittsburgh. Cam Sutton, Larry Ojanobi, Terrell Edmonds, Devin Bush, Chris Wormley, Robert Spillane, DeMonte Casey, Malik Reed, Derek Watt, Tyson Alualu, Marcus Allen, Zach Gentry, Miles Boykin, Lenny Snell Jr. or Benny Snell Jr., Jesse Davis, Mason Rudolph, Trent Scott, Carl Joseph, Anthony Miller, and I think Alex Highsmith is potentially on that list too. I would. That's like 75% of the Steelers defense right there.
Yeah, they definitely need to work and re-sign a lot of those names. Which it shouldn't be hard when y'all got Kenny Pickett at quarterback. Not like he's making a lot yet.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I
That's
would.
where it get tricky when you got to pay him, then pay everybody. Is
Yeah. I want to see, I mean, Cam Sutton, Ojanobi, Terrell Edmonds, Devin Bush. I'm okay. I'm on the fence with Robert Spillane and Casey, both two guys that really stepped up. Derek Watt, I would just like to see him stay and be able to play with TJ. Marcus Allen, he's another guy. I mean, he had that stupid penalty against Carolina, but I mean, I know what he can do. Same with Alex Highsmith. He stepped up huge for TJ Watt being out
yeah,
for
he really
most
did.
of the season. I mean,
Went beyond expectations.
I think he had like 12 and a half sacks maybe or something like that, and he was a Pro Bowl snub. Like, how does he not make the Pro Bowl and TJ Watt does? I mean, at this
That
point,
is pretty crazy.
it's a popularity
It
contest.
is. That's what I was gonna say. That's all that is anymore. You look
Miles,
at a random snub. It's random that punter for the Titans. He
yeah,
broke. I forgot what he did. David Llewellyn. He's in our group. He shared the stat. It was a 40-year punting record. I don't know what it was, but he broke it. How does he
wow,
get snubbed from the Pro Bowl?
exactly. Yeah, I mean, it's insane. Same with like the all pro list that just came out. Minka Fitzpatrick was the only Steeler on that list. How is Alex Highsmith not on that list over Miles Garrett when
Yeah,
he
that
played
makes
better?
Yeah,
It's a
Miles
popularity
Garrett's
contest.
been kind of quiet this year, but I would say Miles Garrett's got in there a couple times off that name.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. People that name is bigger than the play, man, and I think he's pretty good, but I don't know. He seems kind of destructive to me, like he want to hurt somebody all the time, and
Yeah.
I
I
guess that's
just
why he plays his position he plays.
I thought it was hilarious that he used a Tomlinism after they sent Clowney home, and he said we're looking for volunteers, not hostages, or what however Tomlin said that, or volunteers, not prisoners, or something like that. And he said that, and then he was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna make sure the Steelers, get knocked out." Meaning, they were. I mean, I guess they no, they didn't because that was because of the Dolphins and or because of the Jets. But yeah,
Like I say, can't depend on no damn team when you need them, bro.
yeah,
Never.
I did think it was funny though that everyone was posting, "Oh, Joe Flacco could have beat the Dolphins, but he played like
I
crap
don't
to."
think he could. I just did it for laughing purposes.
Oh,
I think he's done, man. He was done in 2016 to me. And you talking to one of his biggest supporters. Where the hell? I got his jersey around here somewhere, bro. Hell, I got my Lamar hoodie over here too.
I did. I saw that.
I ain't wearing that we re-sign him because ain't no sense in it. But
Yeah.
yeah, I love Flacco, man. I mean, honestly, he's statistically the best quarterback the Ravens have ever had.
Yep.
And 2000, I mean, when we drafted him in 2008, I'll say I kind of wanted Matt Ryan. I mean, looking back, I'm glad.
Yep.
Matt Ryan, I mean, honestly, I used to compare both of them as they come out of that same draft.
Yeah.
And Matt Ryan's probably had way better regular seasons, man, way better than Flacco. But when you're talking about the playoffs, Matt Ryan, you can't count on him.
No.
And Flacco never lost the open around playoff game, man. He was a rookie and went to the AFC Championship against you guys. So, I mean,
Yes, I do
he
remember
gets
that.
all the hate, but this man, he was a lock in the playoffs to ball out, whether he won or lost. When he
Yeah.
lost a
So
little bit of that arm, man, he went downhill. Like he had a knee surgery and elbow surgery all in the same year, and he just ain't been the same since.
yeah, it's time. It's time for him to hang it up.
Take all those 8 kids or whatever he's got to Disney World or something. He's about like Phillip Rivers now, man. I ain't even lying.
That's insane. Yeah, I mean, so maybe speaking of him retire potentially, hanging it up, Tyson Alualu, I think could be one of the guys that retires so the Steelers don't have to worry about him. Um, I know Zach Gentry, he's a tight end. He's really good tight end, but I think Pat Fryermuth is the future. And we got Connor Hayward now.
Solid.
He stepped in big when Pat went out Sunday, and he doesn't need surgery. He just has a sprain, ACL MCL sprain is what his injury was, but he doesn't need surgery. Same with Benny Snell Jr. He could go, and I wouldn't be upset because we have Jalen Warren. Mason Rudolph, he could go. I wouldn't be upset,
Yeah.
although
I think he needs to see different scenery, if in my opinion.
he could,
I don't think he could do much better for you guys than he's done. But I
yeah.
could be wrong, but I don't know. There's a lot of tape out on him now.
I mean, Mitch only has one more year on the 2-year deal that he signed free agency, which he now apparently regrets signing right away. But I mean, Mason Rudolph as a second as a second quarterback, I'd be okay with. I mean, we know that if he's put into a game, he's going to show up the best that he can
Yeah.
because of how he did whenever he had to go in for Ben getting hurt or whatever it was. But the other guys, I mean, Anthony Miller, he's another receiver. But we also have Calvin Austin third, who didn't play at all this year, who's a receiver. So, and he was a rookie this year, but so he will be back. I mean, maybe I don't know. I think I'm hoping with all the picks that the Steelers have, the 17th, 32nd, and 48 in the first 2 rounds, that they just stock up on defense and offensive line because the line did improve, but at the same time, it's still not what it was, not what anything close to what Ben had.
Yeah. You can't do anything without a good line. When I
Nothing.
used to play football, I played O line and tight end at high school, and
Yep.
they would alternate me like Gronk, bro. Oh, you gonna block on this running play? Oh, you about to catch on this next one?
Yeah.
It was cool, you know. And I was built kind of like a tight end back in the day.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the breed of tight ends now, it's common to see that kind of build. But back in my high school when we were doing it, you didn't see guys like me playing tight end, bro.
Right.
We were more like cornerbacks or on the line. Basically, that was it. I didn't really like playing cornerback. I didn't want to play wide receiver per se, but that was always my excuse out of it. It's like,
Yeah.
well, I don't like playing cornerback. I want to catch the ball. Even though you can make some damn good plays on defense, but
Yeah.
my luck, I'd be hit with a bunch of penalties, man. I like a hand fight and stuff you cannot do in the NFL anymore.
Yeah.
So it's like, man, you take away a bit of my fun. Man, we
Yeah.
used to get away with all kind of shit at the high school level if you were favored by the damn refs. But
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
school,
I
our school,
played freshman year and went to camp my senior year and then stopped because I was working. But um yeah, I wish I would have actually played like from a younger age all the way up because
I wish I stuck with it. I know I got injured, but when I could have went back, I was like, no, I'm gonna stick with wrestling.
mm,
And it was better for me at the time, but I don't know, man. I like wrestling because if you lose, it's you. You
yeah,
cannot point. Even though I'm not as a team player, I don't like to point fingers. It's just, you win, you
yeah,
lose as a team. But there's
exactly.
so many ways you can point at somebody in a team sport. You could have had a career game, record-setting game, and you lose.
Yeah.
You ain't even gonna be happy. You're gonna be like,
Yep.
well, I don't care how good I did, I lost.
Yep.
Like, you out there on the wrestling mat, that's between you and you, bro.
Yep.
If you can't beat the other guy, he's just a better man. And I've had days like that. I've been put on my ass. I've had people I've looked at like at the weigh-ins, like, I got this.
Yeah.
No, I did not. There's other guys I look at that look like juice heads, man. Like, oh man, I might be in deep. Those are the easiest guys to beat. They gas
Yeah.
out first period. There's the ones, man, that you look at and don't think much of. I learned that the hard way. It's like, yeah, so you got to pay respect to your people and
Yeah.
shake their hand after the match. I've seen some bad injuries too, bro. Bad injury. I seen a dude get his neck broke on the wrestling
Mm,
mat. It's just all about that slam. They had him like at a weird angle, and
yeah.
we were taught not to do that, but you can't really help it whenever you're in the middle of a match and adrenaline's pumping.
Yeah.
My biggest thing was I still do judo a little bit, and I did judo and jujitsu for 6 or 7 years before I did wrestling. So I like to take people down like that.
Mm,
Well, you can't do that in amateur wrestling.
mm,
So I've got disqualified before for doing that. I've got points taken away from it too. I actually had a guy, I felt I beat him fair and square, and I lost by 1 point because the judo hip tosses. I was getting 2 points by putting him on his back. I was losing a point by how I did it.
Mm.
And anyway, they awarded him the winner by 1 point, and he come up to me and said, "Fuck that, bro. You whooped my ass. I don't care." I said,
That's
"Well, I
awesome.
didn't follow the rules, man." I said, "At the end of the day, you're gonna fall back on what you know.
Yeah.
Adrenaline's pumping. You ain't thinking." And my body's has probably years, not even days and months, years of time put into doing judo and jujitsu. Like I like submission grappling. I don't really
Right.
care about pinning you down to 3.
Yeah.
But it's a good MMA sport.
Yeah.
Like if you ain't a good wrestler, you ain't gonna go nowhere. But at the same token, it's like wrestling's kind of not the most dominant thing out there anymore.
So it's funny you say that wrestling is important for MMA because my boy Jake is now with the PFL and he was an all-state wrestler in Ohio in high school.
It's a good fit for him, man. Honestly, because I wouldn't have seen him. Honestly, I know he probably wanted to go to the UFC, even though he didn't. Says at the cameras he didn't because of Dana, their beef. But I would have liked to have seen that. But honestly, was he in like the super fights division, right?
Yeah, so I guess they've now created a super fight division. I don't know how that works. Because he kind of explained how the PFL works in general, which is they have an in-season, like the NFL, like the NBA. They start in April and they go to December. They have six events month to month, and then they have 3 playoffs and then a championship. So that's how their format is. And I've tried to look into it, but I haven't found any more than how Jake explained it.
I think with Jake, they're probably initially they're gonna have him do like what he does, whether it's boxing or MMA now.
Yeah.
He's probably gonna do either or for that company. That's probably why they put him in super fight, so he can attract some more eyes over there to fight him.
Yeah, I was watching the Ariel Hawani
Jump
show
on it.
and they were talking about that and they were like, why don't they should just let Jake be the promoter of the PFL and kind of not necessarily merge it with MVP, but let Jake be the one who promotes it, who schedules the fights, who does the press conferences and all that stuff, and maybe kind of get away from
That is up his
the
alley.
in-season format and just do month-to-month pay-per-views and see where it goes.
That's what they should do. I've been saying PFL should have like I like the tournament because that's like the first brand that's ever done this.
Yeah.
But I also think you can slide in some events too that's not even in relation to the tournament.
Yeah.
Like you put say Jake Paul versus whoever, build a card around that. It don't have to be the tournament. It can just be like they're advertising super fights. They can just put whoever wants to fight games.
I think that's probably what it's going to be because Jake Paul, I guess he sent Nate Diaz a contract for a 2-fight deal, first in boxing and then 6 months later in MMA in the PFL.
I'll be honest, Nate Diaz probably rolled his weed up in that and smoked it. I mean, Nate Diaz, I don't think wants to fight, man. But I did see where he got that contract, and then he went on the internet and started flirting with Rizin. It's a different MMA promotion, but
yeah,
I don't think he even knows what he wants to do, man.
Yeah.
But I look at his brother Nick. His brother Nick acts just like him. I mean, they think they're gangsters.
Yeah.
Oh, Nick's last fight, he didn't fight for 4 years, and he had to get a fight. He quit on the stool, bro. Man got punched in the face so many times. Him and his brother have never done that.
Yeah.
But it's like, when I seen that day, I said Nick and Nate they're done.
Yeah.
If you're gonna quit on the stool, you don't need to be fighting.
Yeah.
And that's who his training partner is, his brother. So it tells me neither one of y'all are getting any better. I don't think.
All right. After that little break that we just took, I did change my hat because I left my other hat at my cousin's house. But so the free agents from the Steelers, again, I don't know how the Ravens are free agent wise, and if they have started minus Roquan Smith that got paid already. But the Steelers have their schedule that the teams that they play at home and away. Obviously the AFC North teams home and away, and then at home, their home teams that they play are Jacksonville, Tennessee, Arizona, San Francisco, New England, and Green Bay. And then on the road, they have Houston, Indianapolis, the Rams, Seattle, and Vegas, and then Cincinnati, Cleveland, and Baltimore. And like we were talking about, the one post, one Cowboys fan was saying 2-5 at best. Absolutely not. The way the Steelers ended this year, they're going to use that to build into next year, and they're going to be a team that people are going to keep doubting because Kenny Pickett, whatever, but it's going to be different.
Oh yeah, for sure. And not being a rookie no more, it's going to be interesting to see how he performs next season. I think he's got a lot of potential. I mean, he can keep making plays to Pickens. You know, that's money.
Absolutely. It's going to be another toss up, I think, with the North next year. It's going to be a hard fought, need to be on that AFC North level to take that division. I don't think it's going to come down to one or two teams.
Me either. And I can see for the most of the year all four teams being in the race, man.
Yeah.
I could, it was very close this year having the whole division in the playoffs with the NFC East until Washington fell off. But
yep, exactly.
Man, you could potentially maybe see a whole division like the AFC North in the playoffs.
That would be
people not a fan of the AFC North probably wouldn't like that, but
yeah,
they're the best teams that year. It's hard not to.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you look at the AFC West, it's really the Chiefs and the Raiders, maybe depending on who they get to bring in as Tom Brady goes there, maybe. And then you got the AFC South, garbage, and then the AFC East is just the Bills. The Dolphins, maybe if Tua's healthy, but the AFC North is the only division in the AFC side that can be good every single week in and week out, minus the week that every team in the AFC North loses. But how often does that happen?
Here when that happens. I hate when you see one team in the division win and the whole team, the other three.
Or that.
Like, damn. Unless you go with the bragging rights that week, it sucks.
Yeah. So other NFL news, Aaron Rodgers has met with the Packers. Pat McAfee said this on Tuesday that there would be no Aaron Rodgers yesterday, because he was meeting with the Packers today, as in yesterday and then today. And I guess Rodgers said that he will not hold the Packers hostage and would be okay with retiring this year if he needed to.
I mean, the play has definitely regressed, but you can also look the same token. He hasn't had those weapons he's had his whole career either.
Exactly.
But he has looked pretty trash. I mean, as bad as it is to say, you don't look like Aaron Rodgers no more.
Yeah. I mean, injuries, you can say injuries, broke his finger, thumb, whatever it was. But yeah, I mean, he doesn't have really anything left to prove.
Like used to be, you could bank on him not turning the ball over. This year, it's not been that way. And that's what's really costing them games.
I mean, you take DeMar away and he just is not Aaron Rodgers anymore. DeMar Hamlin is back in Buffalo. He got discharged from the hospital yesterday or Monday, I think, and is back in Buffalo. His charity, I think the last I saw, was over $8 million.
And that's awesome. He's going to be blessing a lot of people's lives with that charity.
I hope
it shows you when something happens like that, man, the world will stop and come together.
Oh yeah. Robert Kraft donated, I think it was like like $17,003 or something weird like that.
I like that $3, just for that $3 for Hamlin.
Yep. So I'm anxious to see his reaction to whenever he realizes what it's up to.
I thought the interesting story with them donations was Andy Dalton. 2017, he beat the Ravens on a 4th and 12 Hail Mary game, the end of the game.
Yep.
And that sent the Buffalo Bills to the playoffs that year.
Yep.
So Buffalo Bills Mafia, they donated to Andy Dalton's charity for that. And so they returned to favor the Hamlin. I thought that was pretty cool.
I did see that. That definitely was pretty cool. That whole thing is awesome. That's really awesome. I hope he's able to be there for the Bills' first game in the playoffs, like not, down on the sideline, whatever, but like in a suite or something. I hope they just show him.
Definitely. I think he'll be able to. I think he'll be nice and safe and healthy, hopefully.
Yeah.
I don't think
The
they would have let him go if he wasn't doing better. So
yeah, and that's another big thing. His recovery has been incredible.
it's sad seeing a lot of he's not the only one. A lot of these athletes in prime of their health, man, just dropping like flies.
Yeah.
It just
Um
it don't make no sense.
the neutral site scenario, is that I don't know if I saw that's only if it's Buffalo and Kansas City, or is that for also Cincinnati is involved with it?
Yeah, it's just Buffalo and KC now.
Okay, because they're the
I
number
think,
one and number two.
yeah, I
Okay.
think what made it. I don't even know really what Cincy had to be upset about. I get they didn't finish their game, but their head coach said no, you can't.
Yeah.
You know, he's part of that too.
Yeah. Yeah. The play.
I,
Yeah.
I was bumping heads with Bengals fans. They're talking about y'all didn't get screwed like we did. I said, how? I said, bro, we got to beat y'all. Depend on a Chargers team that didn't even win that day
Yeah.
just to get a coin flip.
Yeah.
Like, how is that? How are we not getting screwed? And
Yeah.
I don't blame Coach Harbaugh for sitting everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, Roger Goodell want to play that? Well, we'll play Harbaugh too.
Yep. Yeah. Like I
Thought
said
the game was
earlier.
going to be worse than it was. Honestly, I mean, it was actually pretty close. But
Yeah.
like I said, I don't think the Bengals opened the playbook, so they look
Yeah.
kind of like they was just there to go through the motions.
Yeah. They know what's coming for this weekend.
Yeah, they're going to open the playbook this weekend for sure. I
Um.
expect the defense to clamp down, but without Lamar, 12 points a game, that's not going to beat anybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
30
That's
points with them, 12 points without them. That's a big difference.
Yep. That's just like how the Steelers play with TJ Watt versus without TJ Watt. It's
It's game changing.
incredible. It's insane how much one person really makes a difference.
Guaranteed almost a sack a game and pressures and
Yep.
tackles for loss. That stuff is vital, man. You
Yep.
don't have that. It's a big chunk missing.
Yeah. And that was one of the biggest blows to the season for the Steelers. As soon as he was out, it's just it you needed Highsmith to step up, and he did, but at the same time, it just wasn't enough. Well, I mean, it was enough for the defense because the defense kept us in games, but then the offense just couldn't score.
Yeah, I hate watching that, man. This reminds me like this second half of the season reminds me of like the '06 Ravens, bro.
Mm.
They had the number one unit on defense in football. Back then you could ride that to a title, but
Mm-hmm.
he had so many injuries at offensively. We had bums throwing the ball, bro. And
Yeah.
it was worse then than it is now. And it was still tough. It's like, man, this defense is on the field so much because this offense is so bad.
Yeah.
It's amazing that you can even be considered an elite defense over trying to overcome that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Like,
like,
and three
I
and
mean,
outs just fucking they ruin any kind of momentum.
yeah, that's like people said Ben wrote a stellar defense the whole way to the Super Bowl in 06 or 05, whatever year it would have been or was, and then same thing in 08. But without Ben's throw to Santonio Holmes, that
Yeah.
08 is a different story.
Well, that pick six, and against the Cardinals too.
That's
Was
true.
nasty,
That's
man.
true. James Harrison
I
with the pick
swear
six.
that it happened right before the end of the half, and I felt like, man, that's the game right there. And it was still only the half, but when
Yeah.
that happened, I'm like, man, 99 yards at the end of the half. I just didn't see, and I love Larry Fitzgerald, man. I kind of wanted. It wasn't no hate. I just wanted. I've always wanted to see him get a ring, man.
Yeah.
And his last real good chance was against the Panthers in the NFC Championship game, and
Yep.
I just knew. I said, they're not going to let the Cardinals win because this is Peyton Manning's year.
Yeah.
And sure enough, they let the hot Panthers, the new face on the block, go, and they didn't win. A lot of people think that they might have scripted that, but I wouldn't call it scripted because I mean Cam Newton had a couple opportunities. He just didn't care.
Yeah.
He might have been told let the man get it, but I've seen some of his teammates who actually cared and were trying out there. He fumbled the ball and wouldn't even try to. It was right at his hands and he wouldn't even reach for it.
Yeah.
Like, bro, you can't be doing that in the Super
Yeah.
Bowl.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I'm not a big I can't stand the Broncos, but yeah, it was cool to see Peyton go out on top. I will say that.
Man, he had a noodle for an arm that last year, though. I swear it took a team around him, because if he was like on an average team, he wouldn't have gone nowhere.
No, no.
Von Miller and Demarius Thomas, those kind of players, man, like he had a lot of weapons. Even though Sean Marino, he wasn't there for the second Super Bowl, but
Yeah,
he was a big part of that run into the Seahawks Super Bowl. I
right.
know Sean Marino, man, in the divisional in 2012, he ran a kickoff return and a punt return touchdown in the same game.
Yeah, I do remember that.
It's
That was
insane.
that was my freshman year.
No, Sean Marino used to scare me. I didn't like seeing him.
Yeah,
He was hard to bring down, bro.
yeah,
He was big, and his career didn't last long because of how he played.
yeah. Yep. So the Bears, they have the number one pick, and because they have the number one pick and they went 0-8 after the Chase Claypool trade, the Steelers, the pick they got from the Bears, which I think is also the same pick the Bears got from the Ravens for the Roquan Smith trade, is now the 32nd overall pick.
Oh wow.
So, like I said, the Steelers have the 17th, 32nd, and 48th within the first two rounds.
That's good. That's good numbers to have early on.
And people were saying, oh, early in the season, they were like, oh yeah, the Steelers are going to end it with a top 5 pick. No, they're not. They're gonna stay in that middle to high, 3 spots ahead of where they were last year when they got Kenny. So I'm
Honestly,
anxious to see.
that's what the haters should want. They shouldn't want you at the top getting the first pick.
Yeah,
I tell people that all the time. If they try, well, y'all in top 5 pick, you shouldn't want that.
exactly.
You should want me the
Exactly.
middle of the pack, because you don't get no better that
Yeah.
way. That's why I
Yeah.
like with playoffs. I don't want to go and lose wild card weekend. I'd rather not go.
Yeah.
It's a
Exactly.
whole waste of my time, man.
And that's what I think that's why Matt and I were both getting like a little not frustrated. I mean, he was getting frustrated, but I was just like, all right, I guess I can't really talk because like, they're out, they're not in, whatever. But like I'm looking at it from the way their season could have gone and how it did go.
Yeah,
They're
definitely.
not in, but they took care of business.
I look at y'all and the Packers alike. Even though the Packers, well, I'll put the Lions in their spot. The Lions and y'all both started kind of sketchy, and
Yeah.
the Packers did too, but they just didn't finish that final game like they needed.
Yeah.
And I'd rather have seen the Packers in the play. I think the Packers would have played the 49ers harder than the Seahawks. But that being said, Aaron couldn't handle his business against the Lions. So
Exactly.
I'm happy for the Lions, though. I'm just
I would
mad that
have
they didn't get in.
I would have loved to see the Lions in the playoffs. I said that I think week 1 when I said the Lions were going to be one of those teams that people stay sleeping on, but they surprised everyone, especially with them being on Hard Knocks this year.
It's crazy. Starting 1-7 and finishing 9-8.
Exactly.
That is just ridiculous.
Same thing with the Steelers, 2-6 to 7 and going 7-2 the back half.
It's wild.
It's crazy. But yeah, Mike Tomlin confirmed that Kenny Pickett is QB1 going forward. And that was on Tuesday. And I think it was like Friday, Saturday, maybe it was coming out that Mitch Trubisky said he wishes he would have taken time during free agency and not signed so quickly. I guess the deal he got from the Steelers was the very first offer they got.
He must have been desperate to sign then. But looking back now, I mean, I bet he does regret rushing to sign.
Yeah. And then like I said, he has another year in Pittsburgh. He might have an option in there. I can't remember I know it was maybe it was a 2-year or 2-year deal, or like a 3-year with an option at 2. I don't know, but I don't think he's gonna look to go past playing 2 years being a backup. Same with Rudolph. I think he could if Rudolph can get out and sign with someone, he will. But yeah, it's then at that point you just got to ask, okay, well, who's going to be the backup? Are they going to go and draft someone, use that 48th pick, their first one in the second round with maybe
There's a lot of talent.
Go get a Sean Clifford or someone who is good enough to do it, but is not going to play, and another PA guy, Penn State guy, but.
Hey, there's definitely it's a quarterback deep draft. Even if you just snag for the reserves or the future, man.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you, somebody brought up in a conversation today something I actually really like that nobody's talking about. I wouldn't mind Stetson Benton, a Raven. Lamar want to play hardball, trade him to Houston for the first overall pick, draft Stetson, draft you a wide receiver, draft you a
Yeah,
quarterback. I don't mind starting over because I don't like any other QB in that room besides Lamar.
yeah,
So if Lamar don't want to play or play here or whatever, I think it's more than his knee.
yeah,
I've said that from the start. I think he's good, but he don't want to play without a contract, which I
yep,
understand that.
yep,
But they
yeah,
he can't look at it like he gonna get what Deshaun Watson got.
yeah, yeah. That would make a lot of sense to trade up to Houston for the because they're number two. The
Yep,
Bears are number
two.
one,
Yep,
but
you're right.
they don't need a quarterback. So
Yep.
you know they're not going to go take Stenson Bennett. So yeah, you could. That would be that would be crazy if that would happen.
And the dude has all the intangibles, man. Like he knows how to win. I know he's a little older than most of the average age in the AFC, but
Yeah,
I mean, the dude's got played at the highest level his whole career.
yeah,
And I feel like in a system like the Ravens, that would be good. And no more, you need somebody that's going to pass in the pocket. He's the guy for that.
yeah.
I could see something like that happening.
It
Not that
would
I'm
be
saying that's what I would want, but I'm at the point now. I'm starting to look at life after Lamar because I don't know, and
yeah,
not that I want it to be that, but it's a business at the end of the day.
yeah, yeah. He seems like an Antonio Brown, like a Le'Veon Bell that he doesn't care where he plays, who he plays for, or even about winning. I mean,
And
he
he
just
was
wants
so
money.
different
He just wants money.
when he won his MVP. He was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna be like Brady. I'm gonna take a pay cut and get help around me and win." And now you want to be the highest paid man in the whole league, bro.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know what
So
happened there. He could take a team friendly deal, be paid right. He's so young. You're gonna be doing another one of these things, bro.
yep, yeah,
It's like I don't understand the impatience and greed of some of these players.
yeah. It's definitely it's a big question mark to what's going to happen and why it will happen the way that it does. But jumping from the NFL to boxing, crossover boxing, Misfits 4, KSI's event that he was supposed to fight Dylan Dennis, but Dylan Dylan backed out like we all knew he was going
Yeah,
to. KSI is now fighting FaZe Temper.
I couldn't even tell you who is he. He's part of FaZe Clan though.
Yep. Yep.
I do know a little bit about FaZe Clan, but not a
Yep.
whole lot. I used to watch some stream and stuff back in the day.
Yep. KSI, he's fighting FaZe Temper, so that they're headlining the fight. Slim, who's another big name in crossover boxing, is the co-main. Salt Poppy is another big name. He's a big heavyweight. He's actually pretty entertaining to watch. He can actually fight. Ryan Taylor is fighting Swarms, who is one of the guys that KSI fought twice in one night against. And then there's a female fight on Ordway and Brooke. I other than a couple of these, like four of these names, I don't know who the other ones are. And then AT and Virgo, I think, is the actual pay-per-view card. But
And
KSI
they
was
got
on the
Swarms back in there fast.
yeah. KSI was on the Ariel Hawani show, and he said that originally he was gonna fight Woodley and Logan Paul was gonna fight Dylan.
Damn.
And it was a done deal. And then when Logan got hurt, the budget for this card got lowered.
Yeah, I
And he
can see it.
said KSI said that him versus Dylan Dennis was a more entertaining fight than him versus Tyron Woodley.
It could be.
Even though he said he knew it would be tough for Dylan to actually show up, but he said Dylan was continuously saying, "No, I want to fight, I want to fight, I want to fight." So they let it, they did it, and then now obviously we see what happened.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't know. He's fell off, man. Like I said, he's only known for being Connor's punching bag, man.
exactly.
If it wasn't for
Exactly.
Conor McGregor, him and that other dude, the other dude in the lawsuit with Conor McGregor over the whiskey,
Mm,
I forgot his name. He's an MMA fighter. They used to train. That shows you how little of importance he is.
yeah.
Anyway, I remember when Proper 12 got created, and the guy, I cannot remember his name. I gotta Google it. But anyway, he had the brains behind it. Conor
Yeah.
had the money.
Yeah.
So Conor made it happen. The guy said, I don't want any money of this, any part of it. Just, take care of me how you do in the gym and stuff. Look out
Yeah.
for it. Well, now that they Connor has sold that whiskey company for billions of dollars, he wants his percentage of it.
Mm,
So they went to court in Ireland. Judge threw it out. He says there ain't even a case. He says you literally are on record saying you don't owe me anything.
yeah.
So they went to the Supreme Court over there in Ireland, which they're dealing with right now. And when I tell you this name, you might remember it. Connor Whiskey lawsuit. That's sad. That's how I have to type it. Artem Lobov.
Okay.
But yeah, he used to be like a kickboxing sparring partner of Connor's.
Mm,
And he fought maybe 5 to 7 fights in the UFC. Nobody ever talks about him, but
yeah.
the most you type him on Google, it's the only thing you see is Artem Lobov in an article with Conor McGregor and whiskey. You don't
Yeah.
see anything about his fighting highlights, or it's about this lawsuit.
Yeah.
And honestly, he should thank Conor for that.
Yeah.
Hell, Conor got you in the headlines again. It's crazy. The stuff I mean, he ain't even got to fight no more, man. I don't think he's got much left to prove.
Yeah.
Getting older and bones is brittle, broken ass legs. Like,
Yeah.
he can just chill on Twitter and just tweet crazy shit and get paid
Yeah.
for it.
Keep on chirping at Jake and KSI.
Yeah. He gets on there during the UFC events. Like, it'll be number 1 and number 2 best in the world fighting. He's clowning them.
Yep.
And people get worked up over that, bro.
Yeah.
Like, well, Connor, that's his shtick.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he was doing that for years, man. Even before he was famous.
One of my friends at work is a big UFC guy, big Connor fan, and I said I would love to see when Connor's all done with UFC and actually like fighting. I'd love to see him come over to WWE and just be a mouthpiece for someone.
Yeah,
just to see him on the mic.
He'd be a great manager, I think. Give him like some big powerhouse to be the voice for.
Yeah, like I guess obviously not him and Brock, because Brock he's already had some choice words to say about Connor coming anywhere near
like each other.
But I was thinking like maybe if Ronda were to re-sign with WWE, he could be her mouthpiece, and she is absolutely atrocious on the mic.
Yeah, she would need she needs to go back to the gym and train, man. Because in the ring, she can break your arms, choke you out, but her choreographed moves just don't look right.
Yeah.
She looks like she botches almost every time. Something bad looks like it's a second away from happening.
Yeah. And I will say that whole thing with her and Shotzi, she did come out and say, she messed that up, but they didn't have any time to practice that DDT spot on the outside of the rope. And that's the first time she's ever taken a DDT off of or anybody. So, I mean, that's not really her fault, but like, I
wouldn't be doing a first like that on live TV.
Or on a pay-per-view at that.
I'd be at home or at the gym practicing that a few hundred times.
She did say her ring that she has at home to practice it with Shayna or whoever else she practices with. She said something was it wasn't it was being fixed up or something. The ropes weren't tight enough, or I don't know. It was something on her YouTube, her live stream.
We ain't seen Travis Brown coming to the WWE yet.
That would be fun.
I don't think he likes all the glitz, and I think he likes staying out the public's eye. To be honest with you, he's not like Ronda. Even though Ronda don't like it either, but she still has to perform.
Yeah.
But that guy, he's happy farmer now. He don't give a fuck about nothing else.
Yeah, that's like Brock when he's not in the ring. But yeah, KSI, he said that they're trying to Misfits, his promotion is trying to become the WWE of boxing. He's focusing on the entertainment side, and that's again why he went with Dylan Dennis.
At least he's honest about it. I mean, I'm not really the biggest fan of it, but at least he's not sugarcoating it.
And like I said, the events that I have watched, that's immediately what my reaction was. They focus on the stage, the way the stage is set up for their entrances, and they have, the one fight, the one fight, the guy came out, he was like a Undertaker type character. He was like, I don't even know what he was called, but I'm just like, this is actual influencer boxing. This is what people think Jake Paul is doing, but Jake Paul is putting on actual real boxing events, minus the Ben Askren event that was the Triller and had the TikTok singers and a lot had basically a concert in the event. That was terrible. But now
he wanted to get that money back from his hip surgery, I think.
Yeah.
Because
He
Ben looked bad, but Ben's never really been good on the hands.
yeah.
I would be interested to see him and Jake wrestle.
That's the
'Cause,
first thing.
he's an Olympic wrestler.
Yeah, the first thing that someone said when Jake signed with PFL was, "So, what about Ben Askren and Jake Paul?" And Ben tweeted back and said, when he retired, his contract with the UFC got froze.
Yeah,
Was frozen. So he said if someone can take care of that, he wouldn't mind wiping Jake's face on the mat for
only one
a
man
couple
can
rounds.
take care of that, bro. And in order for him to take care of that, he wants some of that money.
Yeah, Daddy Dana.
Yeah. They same thing with GSP, bro. He had like 5 fights. Like he's the GOAT, the best they ever had. And he retired. He brought in new drug testing that which is known as USADA now.
Okay.
And they didn't have that before GSP. And Dana was on defense about not wanting to keep it around. So GSP wanted to retire then. He was like, well, I don't take your sport seriously if you're not going to drug test. Well, he ended up keeping them around though, but GSP still retired.
Yeah.
But he came back. He went up a weight class and fought for the middleweight belt and won. But the catch was Dana says you can't double cross me and retire. Well, that's what GSP did.
Oh.
So now he wants to do he does want to box. Other Dana won't do it.
Yeah.
Dana won't even let him pay his way out of that.
Yeah. Wow.
So if you want to fight again, you come back to the UFC is what he told me. He's 39.
That's,
you shouldn't be wanting to fight no more. Or
that's
hell, he
crazy.
might be like 41 now, bro. Honestly, he's up there. He looks young though, but he's up there.
That's crazy.
But he's got a gymnastics gig and his own performance centers. So it ain't like he has to even do any of this other stuff. He just wants to.
Right.
But you shouldn't be signing no 8-fight deals when you're 31. Like realistically, you're probably not finishing that contract.
Yeah, 8 fights. That is about 2.5 years. You got to think 3 fights a year, and then that's like 2.5 years.
And sometimes you take a beating bad enough, they'll suspend you a year. You can't even train or nothing.
Yeah.
Seen guys get beat down, bro, and they had 6 months no training.
Yeah. So Jake Paul and KSI were in a Twitter live the other day, and Jake was just going off on him, saying he's not actually going to fight him. He said, "What's in the water over in the UK? Because you and Tommy Fury are both just ducks." And then he was just going duck, duck, goose, acting like he said y'all are just playing duck, duck, goose. And I guess Jake said that, and he tweeted this out and said he sent KSI and his team a contract, and it's reported that it's for 10 rounds at 185 pounds. And all of Jake's fights have been 8 rounds since Ben Askren. And KSI has only fought in 4 rounds. So Jake's about it. Jake's serious. He wants it. And KSI, he said on Ariel Helwani, he wants it to be at like 177. He wants it to be lower. And I'm like, I wonder why. I wonder why he says the negotiations are going to take long, because he doesn't want to be up at 185. He doesn't want Jake to have that power. But his management team said that they'll look into that after the Temper fight. And who knows, it will hopefully be November, December for this year. So I'm hoping, because I know KSI has said that once he fights Jake, he's done. He has no interest of boxing anymore, even though him and Misfits and DAZN, they just signed a 5-year deal to keep putting on Misfits events.
I looked at his boy's Facebook page, man. Fucking Swarms. I even sent him a message a long time ago. This dude, he's probably grown a little bit. Yeah, he's grown since having coverage on pay-per-view and stuff.
Right.
Kid you not, when I first looked this man up, he had like 500 followers.
Wow.
Now he's got 4,000 and a blue check. He didn't have any of that. He did not have any of that back before. I know he lost. I just don't remember who he fought.
He fought KSI.
Oh, it was Yeah, that was KSI.
Yeah, because KSI was supposed to fight. He was supposed to fight Wasabi, and then he backed out because of a concussion. And then Swarm stepped in, and then he was going to fight. He was going to fight the boxer, but apparently the boxer was like a Nazi or something.
Oh yeah.
And then Swarm stepped in, and then he also brought in the Pineda kid, who was awful.
Swarm's he used that to build his fucking music platform.
Oh,
That's all he
Absolutely.
did. Because now
Absolutely.
I can see it now, bro. Like you can see this check. Well, damn, I don't know if how this is gonna work. Whoops.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that's
he
crazy.
got the blue check now, and it
Yeah.
said zero following zero. He was following a couple hundred people last I checked. So people get a little famous, start on following people.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do that. I mean, honestly, like most of my followers, I follow anyway, like
Yeah.
friends wise. But like,
Yeah.
I got a lot of bots too. It's like sometimes I get them damn Charlotte Flair bots. If I tag her on a post, man,
Yep.
it's the bots to acknowledge it, not her.
Yeah.
I've sent her messages in her DMs about that. Like, bro, you need to address these bots on your pages, or you need to maybe acknowledge me for once. It's like, because I get tired of this.
Yeah.
But I did. I chatted with her on webcam in
Yeah. I remember yeah,
2018 or 17.
yeah, the Instagram live.
I'll
That's
never forget
awesome.
that. I can't believe she was just on there on the plane chilling. And when I slid into the live, it said like 13 viewers. Like it wasn't even going yet.
Yeah.
She's like, if you want to join my chat, let me know. I'm like, yeah, please, me. I kept hitting request to join live, request to join live. And sure enough, she accepted that shit, man. And we
That's
talked for about
awesome.
2 minutes. I wish I could have asked her more than I did.
Yeah.
And, I was kind of starstruck. I told her I really didn't think this was going to happen. She was sitting on her jet going to the
Yeah.
next arena or
That's
wherever
awesome.
before
That's
Andrade and all of that mess.
awesome. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it is kind of cool though to see the whole boxing crossing over with WWE. I mean, it's kind of a cool idea. It's good for the sport. It's obviously going to bring in the TikTok crowd of kids into the sport of boxing and all that. But I mean, it's like I said, the events that I've watched, I've been very vocal about it. It's been a joke. And compared to what Jake is doing, and now Jake's jumping in over to the MMA and showing that he's serious about everything that he says he's doing for the fighters. He's being serious about it, and he's actually doing for the fighters. But he and Tommy Fury have reportedly signed a deal, and it's done for February of this year over in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, hopefully that'll happen because I know I seen that they try to get their visa straight, and I don't know, they got something they tangled up with like some kingpin cartels over there, dude.
Right.
They fucking with the wrong people.
Yeah. Well, I
And
mean,
that's kind of why they're in that situation. But
Tommy Fury was on the Mayweather Deji undercard, so that was in Saudi Arabia. So obviously that's an area where he's allowed into. So but Jake offered to go over and fight in London, in Manchester, in Tommy's
that'd
backyard.
be a hit. That'd be
And
a hit, man. Them London crowds is something else.
and Fury he didn't say anything back about it, and then all of a sudden then he said, okay, let's do that in Manchester and London, whatever, and do it all for free. And knowing Jake is obviously not going to do it, actually do it for free. I'm sure that's all talk for any fighter. They
Yeah,
obviously
nobody would.
want to get
Nobody
paid
would.
for it. But yeah, so that I'm hoping that happens. I think it was reported for like the 18th or something, and I was hoping it would be on the 26th, which is my birthday, which is on a Sunday. But I mean, I'm pumped for it either way. I'm still gonna buy it either way, but hopefully it's actually a done deal and it actually happens. Same with KSI later in the year, November, December. And I guess the plan is for Jake to fight 3 times this year. And my guess would be the February, August. August would be his MMA debut, and then November, December for the KSI fight.
Definitely a lineup. I wonder what weight class he's going to be doing MMA in.
So
I would think like middleweight or welterweight. I would think.
yeah, I know he said he only want after the whole thing with Rockman Jr. He said he wants to stay at 187. He doesn't want to go up or below 187.
So middleweight.
Yeah.
They'll make him go to 185 though. They ain't
Or,
no
yeah,
huts about that.
185, 187.
Well, he can weigh
that area.
186, but if he
Yeah.
weighs 187, they'll find him.
Okay.
As bad as that is, if you have 1 pound leeway,
Okay.
unless it's a title fight. If you're 0.5 over, you can be 0.5 under in a title fight, but not
Right.
0.5 over.
Mm. Yeah. So that, I mean, yeah,
Fat
that's
fine too. I seen a
yeah,
dude. He literally had the nerve to weigh in 13 pounds over one day.
yeah.
They
Well,
canceled the fight.
yeah. That was on that was the Diaz fight, right?
This was a year or two. It's probably happened several times. But I do remember what you're talking about with that Diaz fight too. Somebody missed weight that night too, and that's why the
Yeah.
car got shuffled. At least they got that to work. But
Yeah.
I seen Dana actually end it. Like he canceled the whole pay-per-view one
Oh,
time.
wow. Wow. Wow.
Dana don't play, man. Something that's gonna mess him up or make his product look bad. He's ending it.
Yeah.
But I think it's
Well,
ironic that power slap shit he's got going on.
yeah, that I think that starts tonight
Yeah,
after AEW.
it's just so funny. Him slapping his wife and
Eh,
now
Yeah.
debuting this.
That's I'm sure his marketing team was not happy about that.
I tell you how strong this man's pull is. ESPN told their shows take it easy and not
Oh,
crown the
yeah.
man.
Yeah.
But God forbid, bro, if that's just some Joe Schmo, you're gonna have a whole a whole show or shows
Vince
dedicated.
McMahon. If that was Vince
You know?
McMahon.
And ESPN don't even cover wrestling much, but they
Yeah.
covered that. Man, if it say like, let me think of a good example of something that they didn't let. Well, contracts, man. For example, they always want to talk about contracts.
Yep.
They'll spend days and weeks and months on that subject, but bro, they could have had all kind of content out about Dana White. But Stephen A. Smith, he's one of the bigger names at the
Yep.
company. He said himself that he got in his earpiece during the first take, said, don't dog Dana White.
Don't bring up Dana. Yeah.
Dana does have a deal with ESPN.
Yep.
So
Yeah, because ESPN Plus. Yep.
and I mean things happen, man. I wish we took more approaches like they did with Dana with more situations.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to ever strike a female unless it's life or death. Now, if I have to defend my life, I don't look at
Yeah.
you as a female. And I'm
Yeah.
probably not going to hit you. I'm going to probably be shooting you.
Yeah.
But, I mean, they were drunk. The woman did slap him a few times first, but he just landed that knockout blow.
Yeah.
But, I mean, things happen. It's a bad look, a terrible look. But
Especially like you
they
said,
grow from it. Yeah.
especially like you said, with the whole power slap thing starting up tonight. His
It's so
marketing team
ironic.
was probably not happy about that.
I'm surprised TBS. I think that's who was doing it.
Yep. Yep.
TBS.
It's
I'm
TBS because
surprised they didn't
it's
cancel it.
it's right after AEW because they're the AEW account
That's a good slot though.
advertised it.
A lot of
I mean,
AEW fans would be interested in that. I'm
oh
sure.
yeah. So jumping into some AEW WWE news, Mercedes Moné, Sasha Banks is in New Japan Pro Wrestling after debuting at Wrestle Kingdom 17. At the press conference, she said that she was going on a world tour. What do you think the odds are for her to show up in AEW tonight at Dynamite?
I big odds, especially the way they do things in AEW. It wouldn't shock me at all.
Yeah, and she can. I mean, I saw that she wants to, do this world tour thing. She's back for now, but I don't think she wants anything too long term because she's dipping her toe in acting and Hollywood and CBD and all this stuff. Yeah, Snoop. Yep, everything.
Man, she's blessed to have family like that.
It's her interview with her episode on Impulsive was awesome. Whenever she told Logan and Mike George and all them that she was Snoop Dogg's cousin, they were like, "What? Are you kidding me?"
And it threw me off at first too, like years ago. And I looked into it. I said, "I'll be damned."
That's actually how they ended up getting Snoop Dogg on Impulsive late last year. But yeah, that was I don't know. I watched the video of her return and it just, I don't know if the New Japan crowd is just that much different, but it didn't sound like that it was that big of a pop and she didn't
that really.
It wasn't the same as what she is in WWE, and I definitely thought she was going to return at Survivor Series, but I guess
even though when Brock Lesnar went to New Japan, bro, there wasn't really a big pop for him either.
Yeah. See, I didn't even know that. That's how much I do not watch New Japan.
Only I've dabbled with it a little bit, but I knew about Brock because when he left WWE the way he did,
yeah,
he went to the Vikings. It didn't work out, and I was like, I was following. I was like, well, damn, what's next for this man? And he fucked up what he was good at.
Yeah,
Sure enough, he found UFC, and then he went to New Japan before UFC.
Okay.
And
Wow.
he actually ran into Dana White there,
Mm,
and he told Dana he wanted to fight. And Dana said, "Well, we'll get you a fight with a nobody." It was that Min Soo Kim guy, one of
mm.
them generic Orientals, man.
Yeah.
And Dana said, "You beat him, you'll be in the UFC." Brock, of course, his gimme fight wins, but his debut in the UFC was more iconic than his title win, man.
Yeah. Then
He
he
came
won a
in there.
he won a title fight, or he won a title in his third fight, right?
Yep. And his second fight with Frank Mir, it showed the blueprint and the skill, because he bullied Frank Mir, man.
Mm.
He put Frank on his ass, and he got careless though against a black
Yeah.
belt in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
But Frank Mir snatched his leg.
Mm.
But the second time they fought, Frank didn't have a chance, man. Like, Brock knew about the ground game, and
Yeah.
Brock gets on top of you, you're not getting out from under him.
No.
Smothering, man. Randy Couture, that's the guy he took the belt from. He said when Brock, and he was the gold medal Greco-Roman wrestler for the Olympics.
Mm.
He said when Brock gets a hold of you, it's a different feeling, man. He says you're drowning. He's like, there ain't much you can do.
Yeah.
Got that death grip or something, bro. I don't know. He's
Speaking
just
of death grip, well, let's talk about the death grip that Vince McMahon has on the WWE, weaseling his way back into control as chairman, and now throwing the reports out there that they're selling to Saudi Arabia, which now we know is, false, thanks to Ariel Helwani and Sean Ross Sapp. This is insane. If they do sell, I can't imagine that they would actually sell. But if they do sell, I would want it to go to NBC, Peacock, or Disney.
something affiliated with the states, man.
I would rather see it go to Amazon Prime
Me
or
too.
Prime Video than Saudi Arabia.
They're gonna turn that. It's gonna be Goldberg every event. It's that's why Goldberg's always at Saudi Arabia. They request him.
Yeah.
It's like, man, y'all gonna get somebody killed in that ring over there.
Yeah.
When I watched him and The Undertaker in Saudi Arabia,
Oh.
The Undertaker is my favorite all time. Goldberg was one of my favorite, probably my favorite besides Sting from WCW.
Yeah.
But I said that night, I said, I don't want to watch either of these two old ass men get in this ring and kill each other.
Yeah.
He about killed The Undertaker, man.
Yeah.
About paralyzed him. And I think you're going to see a lot of those circus matches if Saudi Arabia takes over.
Oh yeah,
Even more of them.
Yeah. Yeah, thankfully that wasn't true as of yet. And actually there's a shareholder that's suing Vince McMahon for using his 81% voting power to get himself back in to sell and all that.
It's funny you brought that up. I had an argument with somebody the first night when it said he was coming back.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, well, there ain't nothing he can do. It's not a private company. It's a publicly traded company. I said, and he owns most of the shares.
Yeah.
I said, it's his, bro.
Yeah.
That you can call it what you want publicly. At the end of the day, if Vince don't agree with it, it ain't happening.
Yeah. And it's funny because
still don't seem to understand that.
I was on Monday, I was about to buy a stock in WWE because I had like $30 in my Cash App, and I don't ever use Cash App, but
I hate Cash App.
I was about to buy a stock in WWE, and then I ended up not doing it. But yeah, I want to see it go to NBC, Peacock, or even Disney.
Somebody that can make it grow even more,
Yeah, like USA has been partners with them for 30 years. Disney and Fox has been great. If it would go to Disney, they could, throw it on ESPN Plus, and then that's a way to get an open door of UFC and WWE doing, more stuff together. That would be fun.
If they went with Disney, I'd hate to see them charge extra money for their events like the UFC did.
Yeah, that's true.
The only thing I hate. I love that UFC is backed by ESPN and Disney.
Yeah,
they're not going nowhere.
Yeah,
but at the same token, I'm paying $20 more event now.
Yeah, it's up to like what, $70, $75, $77.
Yeah. He's talking about hiking it up again. When I first started watching UFC, you could get these pay-per-views $29.99.
That's insane.
Get on the landline phone and call your cable provider and buy it that way. It's like, and the fights were just as good back then, man.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, there ain't no names like that. compared to now with the media and the way you can really promote now.
Yeah.
But at the same token, it ain't worth no 80 damn dollars, bro.
Yeah,
Shit.
I want it to stay. That's why I want NBC to kind of keep it and keep it on Peacock, because like, that's a great deal for most
Yeah.
people that are gonna have Xfinity internet and get Peacock for free. You're getting it for free. And if not, $5.99 a month and you got Peacock. So
And most
you
of these,
get
even if you don't want to flat out get Peacock, a lot of the streaming networks have Peacock included.
exactly. Yeah, and if they, multiple wrestlers have already said that they would, if it was sold to Saudi, they would leave. Sami Zayn, I'm sure, is at the top of that list.
Got to be. I don't
Um
even want no part of that.
Bray Wyatt apparently liked a depressing tweet on teasing his release with
Speaking of
Vince
devil,
McMahon.
can you read that notification?
I can't really see it now.
Look,
What's it say?
it's one of them Charlotte Flair bots, man.
Oh.
I'm telling you, it's like I could just go like her newest picture and then I
Yeah,
get flooded with that. It's like, how
yeah,
do they know when I like her stuff, man?
the
These guys
bots.
are good at something. They're good
That,
at that.
yeah, someone's got to be good at something.
I was showing my cousin one of my tricks, like how you can change, like you can copy a website, send it to somebody, but it's a completely different link that's typed out.
Right.
I Rickroll. I didn't do nothing bad. I Rickrolled my cousin with it. You know the old classic Rickroll.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Man, that shit should be illegal." I said, "It probably is what I'm
Yeah.
doing." I say because I mean, you could really hack somebody's shit with that kind
Oh,
of knowledge.
yeah.
Not that I would, but you really can. You can set somebody up for failure.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah.
Second, it's already Wednesday, bro.
Bray.
Ain't got no Thursday night football no more.
Yeah, I know.
Kind of a bittersweet feeling.
Dynamite tonight.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna be peeping that. I don't know if I'm gonna watch it live or record it. Yeah, the thing was send me a friend request, lovely fan. Another crab. You viewed her profile,
Yeah.
one fan, no post. It's like I know, and the funny thing is, I know her personal profile too.
Yeah.
She just ain't added me. It's Ashley Elizabeth Flair,
Yeah.
like her actual spelling of her name, Fliehr.
Yeah.
I've done found her real Facebook, bro. She
Yeah.
just won't add me,
Yeah.
and I don't want to blow her up, but
Yeah.
I should be like. But then again, I can understand her point of view because if you add one fan, and knowing me, I start sharing, people gonna irritate her, bro.
Yeah.
But I let it be known. I screenshotted it, and this was like 2018 or 19, but I shared it on Facebook. Like, yeah, I found you. Wouldn't add me though, but it was a picture of her as a baby and Rick. Like,
Mm,
well, she wasn't really a baby. I'd say she was like 5,
mm,
and it was like Rick standing there with her, like they were
mm.
at the beach or the lake or something.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah, that the Ric Flair documentary was awesome. It
It
was
was.
great.
I hope the
Um,
man really needs. I hope he really isn't thinking about trying to wrestle again though. Somebody needs to sit his Charlotte or his wife that's half his age, whoever, they need to sit him down and be like, listen, man,
the,
you done.
the first pay-per-view event under Saudi control, and it's headlined by Goldberg versus Ric Flair versus Roman Reigns for the undisputed title.
And one of the old heads win.
Yeah,
As bad as
probably.
it say, that's how
Probably.
Saudi rolls, man. They about that nostalgia over there. How we are,
Um,
we like our nostalgic stuff. But we're okay
oh
with
yeah.
the
Yeah.
times. They don't want to let that stuff go.
Yeah.
They want to let they let Sting be 80 years old over there wrestling. But Sting, I'm surprised Sting even came to WWE. I thought he'd be the lone wolf, and I said, don't do it. I begged and I told fans, I'm telling you, you want to see Sting in WWE, you're going to regret it.
Mm-hmm.
He goes in there, gets squashed by Triple H, called that, gets his world title match, gets his neck broke, doesn't win a title. I knew that's what Vince was going to do to him because he was the last remaining soldier of WCW that didn't cave.
Yeah.
So the minute he caved and went over there, Vince like, all right, I got you.
Yeah.
He should have never. He should have. I don't know what he should have done, but he shouldn't have went there. Those couple.
Yeah.
Years.
Yeah. Now Vince is
It should have been
potentially,
Sting and Taker and nothing else.
yeah. He's potentially going to do the same thing to Bray Wyatt. If he gets back into creative control, how long before Bray Wyatt's done?
Sad.
Or
That man's got a
his,
brilliant. He don't even got to be a wrestler. Let him go behind the scenes and write some
yeah,
stories.
that's true.
I mean,
He like I said, he liked a depressing tweet teasing his release with Vince McMahon back in the company as the chairman.
Yeah,
Um,
he ain't happy.
Also, days after Stephanie McMahon announced her resignation as co-CEO. And yeah, I mean, this is I'm excited looking at the Royal Rumble card for what we have so far. The pitch black match, him and LA Knight. I can't wait to see what that is. What
Definitely
that's going
want
to
to
be
see
like.
Uncle Howdy's gonna be in that,
I
definitely.
I thought we were gonna. I saw a thing. It said teaser or spoiler for we were gonna find out who he was on Raw with his stare down with Alexa Bliss, and then they just went to commercial.
Right.
Like,
Oh,
is
we
Vince
know who it
already is Vince already back in control that you're
got to
just
be.
gonna literally cut to commercial in the middle of that and leave it on a cliffhanger? Like,
It's
what
funny.
are we doing?
I love this whole thing, but I've known from the start. It's Bo Dallas. I
Oh
mean,
yeah, yeah. You
I
gotta
still I'm still interested in it, even though I know who it is and the story behind it. I still want to see where this goes.
you gotta believe.
Yeah, Bo leave. And you can just look
Um.
at the facial features, man.
Oh
Even
yeah,
the goat, the
yeah,
beard, and the mask. Like
yeah,
you know who it is. Him and
yeah,
Bray definitely favor each other. Like you can
yeah,
tell they're
yeah,
family, brothers.
yeah.
Uh, they
Um.
they definitely built very similar.
Yeah. Running down the Royal Rumble, the card that we have right now, pitch black match, Bray Wyatt, LA Knight, the undisputed Universal Championship, Roman Reigns and Kevin Owens 3, because this is their trilogy fight at the Royal Rumble. Um, I'm excited for this one. I want to see, because they've now teased splitting of the titles. I want to see in like another week or so, um, Adam Pearce get so mad with the bloodline and say, you know what, Roman's only defending the WWE title at the Rumble, and then Kevin Owens can win it and have the WWE title back on Raw, and only be that can be the way that they split the titles
That'd
up.
be cool. That's how they should. I seen a
Um,
bit of grapevine something that Wrestling Inc. was talking about. We're flirting with a completely new title.
or that, yeah, that would work too. Um,
I'd like to
and
see
then
something like that sticks out, totally different than what they've got.
yeah, and then going the men's Royal Rumble match. I think my picks right now are probably Cody Rhodes or The Rock. Um,
Either angle makes sense.
if you do Cody coming back and winning, um, he can, choose Kevin Owens. If they do split up the title, he can choose Kevin Owens and get the WWE title and stay on Raw, because that's the one that he wants. He doesn't want the Universal title because he wants the
Yeah,
WWE title and he wants to win that for Dusty. And then
definitely.
you can have The Rock come back in the match and be part of the Final Four, and then as soon as The Rock comes back, where that's going to go.
Yeah.
That's going to be The Rock
I
and
don't think The Rock. I think Rhodes needs to rub at a Rumble more. The Rock don't need to win the Rumble. The
no,
Rock just walk in on a random Raw and everybody goes nuts.
yeah,
But the Rhodes family, man, they're my number one argument in defense of Charlotte Flair.
hmm,
Because look at Dusty.
yep,
Dusty's the fucking that was my grandma's favorite wrestler growing
yeah,
up. Well, not growing up, but like in her era of wrestling, that was
right,
her favorite wrestler.
right,
And but I always say, like, people always say everything Charlotte's everything because of Rick. And Rick, it's like, well, explain Gold Dust.
yeah,
The man's had he ain't never done, he only won an intercontinental title.
yep,
It's not about who your parent, you got to be able to do it too.
yeah, yeah,
And people don't seem to understand that about wrestling, man.
yeah.
Like, just
That's
because
for
your
anything.
mama or daddy is
That's for
that
anything.
guy.
It's like the whole thing of like Logan Paul jumping in and being, named rookie of the year for the one wrestling Twitter journal, whatever. I'm like, oh, he's taken away from other up and coming stars. No, he's still an up and coming star since it's
Yeah.
his, first 3 matches, but he just has a big name. That's why he's able to jump over NXT and, not do it the same way that everyone else is doing it.
I
He
think that's a good home for him. I don't mind Logan in WWE. I'm actually pretty entertained with him there.
I love it. I
I've come
can't.
around on Logan. I feel how I feel about Jake, but
I
I've
know.
come around on Logan a little bit.
I know.
He's definitely had some nice spots in the ring. I
And
like that frog splash with the camera in his hand.
plenty more coming. Plenty more
Yeah,
coming. His
they
his
can make
knee.
him a star, a big star if they do it right. But you got to
Yeah.
feed off the crowds, even the hate sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll be ready. Uh I know he's still rehabbing that knee, but I wouldn't mind seeing him in the Rumble, just part
Yeah,
of it.
they have all kind of
Um,
random people in it, so why not?
then the women's Royal Rumble match. My picks right now probably Rhea Ripley or Becky Lynch.
Yeah, they
Um,
definitely should be favorites. I'd like to see even Raquel, man, make her some noise, have a big
yeah,
23. It's probably a little too soon for that, but she's doing
yeah.
great. She's doing
Just
great.
after the fact that she had that match with Ronda um and then Charlotte kind of just came out and not necessarily took the spotlight back because I think everyone was waiting for her return, so the spotlight
Yeah,
was going to be on her no matter what. But that was one of the big like arguments that people had, in not favor of her return. I love her return. She's going to be a much needed add to the women's division.
yeah.
Um,
Them even taking the belt off her and giving it to Ronda was a bad decision from the
yeah,
start.
yeah,
She had to step away, and I don't blame her. And
yeah,
honestly, probably planned that perfectly.
yeah,
Like Andrade wasn't with WWE, and it's like, let's see how these women do if I ain't there a few months.
yeah.
And SmackDown went to shit, man. There was
Oh
no
yeah.
entertaining women's storylines on
No,
SmackDown.
none, because that was
Raw had everything.
the same time as the whole walkout with Sasha and Naomi and all that.
Hold
Um,
on 1 second.
all right, so I think Keenan had a run, so we had some technical issues, but that was gonna be that for this episode. We're gonna wrap it up here, and we will continue next week. I am gonna run through the rest of what I kind of had to talk about. The Rumble, my Rumble card, the Rumble card, like we were talking about. I can see them adding two, maybe three more matches. Um, um, Maybe the Usos and the Judgment Day for the Raw titles on there. Roman potentially only defending the WWE title, and finally splitting them. And then another piece of news, AW news that I wanted to hit on was there apparently from Tony Khan via In the Zone, there is definitely a lot of demand for AEW live events, and we now have this great big roster that wants to do these live events. So it's something that we're going to do. That would be awesome to see Tony Khan bring AEW on a live tour and have them visit smaller arenas, smaller cities where they haven't gone to for TV before, like Hershey and State College, just too near me. But that, like I said, that's going to do it for episode 34 of the Sleeper Sports Media Podcast with my guest, Keenan from Exceptional Sports News. And we're going to look to pick this up next Wednesday and going forward from there every Wednesday. Thank you for watching, viewing, and subscribing. Please join the Facebook groups, Sleeper Sports Media, as well as Exceptional Sports News, and follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and everything else. Catch it on Spotify or wherever else you get your podcast. Thank you again, and I'll catch you next time.